You know, the white bass is one of the hardest fighting freshwater game fish species in our region, but he doesn't grow very large. A 2-pound white bass is a legitimate big fish, but there's one exception to the rule, and that's right over my right shoulder. That is the Sabine River. It's located in deep East Texas, and from Toledo Bend Reservoir up the Sabine River swim some of the largest white bass anywhere in our region. We're going fishing for those today. You're going to get to go with us. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Sports South.
A little morning fog rolling down the Sabine River this morning. You know, this place is really legendary. It's got a lot of history to this river. It runs for a long ways down the entire east side of the piney woods of deep East Texas. But the thing that we're here for today is the legendary white bass spring spawning run that happens every year up the Sabine River. The rest of the year, these huge white bass live in Toledo Bend Reservoir, which is a long ways that way down that river. They swim 40 or 50 miles upriver to spawn every year, just like a salmon does. Now, the river is up a little bit high this year. We've had quite a bit of rain in East Texas. The level is up, and that's going to present a few challenges to finding the spots in the current where these white bass are spawning. But the white bass run is in full swing right now. We're going to take you out today, show you that run. While we're doing that, you get to go around your local lakes, rivers, and bays for your fishing report from your own backyard from our expert team of Insider reporters. Hey, we're in for a lot of fun today. Right now, that bass tracker, Pro Team 175, gets launched into the famous Sabine River. Right now, we get you started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
The Lunar tables are forecasting the best times for fishing to take place around the dawn and dusk hours this weekend. Expect peak morning times to start at 6:20 on Saturday and 7:04 on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 7:21 and set at 7:44. And evenings will feature a moon that is 64% visible. Stay with us. We'll be right back with freshwater and coastal fishing updates from around the region. Plus, Mr. Crappie Wally Marshall joins us to answer this week's Ask the Pro question.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
There we go. There's a good pull. Oh yeah, that's a big female. Look at that dude. Look at that big dude right there. Don't jump. Yeah, look at that. There's a big fat female right there. I want to show you something. You know, you got to get used to fishing around a lot of people when you do this. Golly, look at the belly on that fish. Big fish, 2.5 pounder or so. Look, this creek right here behind me, you can see that there's people all up in there, several boats fishing. And if you're gonna do this, especially in the springtime, you kind of got to get used to fishing around some other folks. And you know, white bass are not like a largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, some of the other species. When they spawn, they're real spooky. They don't feed. They're not real aggressive. They just want to sit there and spawn. Man, a white bass, he's just crazy. He's nuts. He's a ballistic fish. Even around all these boats and trolling motors and people, they're feeding anyway, and a white bass, even when she's up there actually laying her eggs, is still real aggressive, and that little lure comes swimming by and they just eat it anyway. So basically this time of the year, if you can cast and reel in, doesn't matter if it's a spin cast reel, a spinning reel, bait cast reel, whatever you can handle, this is the easiest time of the year to be able to catch fish anywhere across our region when these white bass make this big push. But you want to find these little creeks, tributaries, those kind of places. The fish are everywhere, they're real aggressive, and it's a great time of the year to catch them. Big female right there. Man, that's what this is all about. Biggest white bass in the state of Texas right there. Let's get you some more fishing and lake reports locally.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where fishing fun is year-round and where the Mississippi Gulf Coast offers some of the best inshore angling and and offshore adventures anywhere in the world. So start your next fishing adventure in the true South, Mississippi. Well, spring weather continues to get pretty, and along with that great weather comes really good fishing. As that water temperature warms up, bait fish get a lot more active, and the game fish are active too. Things are really starting to cook along the coast, especially in the inshore waters. I was talking to my son Eric over in Biloxi, Mississippi, and the flounder, there's a nice spring run of flounder that are just starting to crank up over there pretty good. These are 1 to 3 pound fish, and they tend to hang out around the bayfront areas, around rock rubble, jetties, piers, that sort of thing, and also along the Katrina reefs that stagger along the coast there. You want moving tides, generally the lower end of the tide, which kind of concentrates them on ledges and little drop-offs near those structures. And they like live bait, but you can also catch them real well on a reverse Carolina rig. Put that sinker at the end of the leader with the hook farther up. In Alabama, they're doing real well on sheepshead around in the Mobile Bay area, around some of the rock rubble and jetties, but also around the oil rigs. That's been very good fishing there. And that's pretty much the same story for the best fishing along the Georgia coast. Up off Savannah, around the J buoy, they've been doing real well on big sheepshead. It was a 12-pounder caught there just the other week. In St. Simon's Island, I was talking to Captain Tim Cutting. He's doing real well in the deeper creeks on trout, redfish, and some flounder. He wants deep outside bends, fishing soft plastics very slowly, sometimes a float rig with live shrimp.
Welcome to the Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report. This week's action is brought to you by Liberty County in scenic coastal Georgia, a perfect spot for hunting, fishing, and outdoor adventure. Escape the ordinary and visit Liberty County, the right blend. www.libertycounty.org. Now the crappie spawn has begun across the region, and this has these fish moving into the shallows. In southwest Mississippi's Franklin County, a good bet is on Lake Okesa. These fish are now moving into depths of 3 to 6 feet of water along the banks. This is particularly true anywhere the old channel of Porter Creek swings near the shore. Look for man-made gravel beds in the upper end of the lake above the water ski area to find most of the fish. A 1/16 ounce jig and grub fished over these beds in red and white color is popular with local anglers. In Georgia, the general trout season opens this coming weekend. The state has 4,000 miles of streams with rainbow, brook, and brown trout in the mountainous northern third of the state. Most of the popular seasonal streams are open from March through the end of October, and some of the better ones are the Upper Chattahoochee River, Holly Creek in the northwest, Cooper and Rock Creek in the central area, and Wildcat Creek to the east. Fishing with natural baits, inline spinners, or fly casting gear all will work on these streams. For some Alabama action, Pickwick Lake on the Tennessee River is a place to be. It's in the northwest corner of the state, and the smallmouth bass action there is as good as it's going to get in late March. A good pattern is tossing swim baits when currents moving below Wilson Dam in the upper end of the lake.
There's one. Feels like a good one. Oh, look at that. That's a big one. I gotta get the net on him. Look at that big pig. Man, that's the biggest one yet. That's a toad. We're gonna stick the scale on him. I just want to give you some idea of how big these fish are running. 3 pounds, 214, 214, almost 3 pounds right there. That, my friends, is a pig of a white bass. That's a toad. Biggest one we've caught today. We finally caught nearly a 3 pound white. Look at the big fat spawn and belly on that female right there. This is what can happen when you come to the Sabine River. Biggest white bass anywhere in the state of Texas. That's the biggest one I've ever caught in my life. I don't think I've ever caught a 214 white bass. Very few people have. Just a huge, huge fish. Back that one goes. She gets to go spawn. This is her lucky day. Wow. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break right here, but before we do, I want to mention that you need to join our Twitter feed. Here's the deal. We're going to be putting up a lot of pictures, photos, videos, fishing news, and information that you'll never see here on the TV show, but maybe more importantly, we're giving away free gear all season long on our Twitter feed. But you have to be on our Twitter feed to be eligible. Go to twitter.com, search for Fox Sports Outdoors, or we are at Fox_Outdoors. That's the address to get to our feed. Click the follow button, then you're eligible for all the free stuff we'll be giving away all season long. So as you can see, we've made a little move off the main Sabine River channel. It's pretty murky out there. It's not just milk chocolate muddy, but it's pretty murky. And we've moved into a little ditch or a little feeder creek. Now this feeder creek has got some current in it, but not nearly as much as the main river channel itself. There's one. And a lot of times you can move back in a spot like this and find a bunch of fish ganged up in one spot. She is not happy to be hooked at all. Boy, that's a good 2.5 pound female, something like that. Fat spawning belly. Oh, almost dropped her. There's your look right there. Beautiful, big, heavy white bass. Back that fish goes. Thank you. There's actually 3 reasons why these fish will move back into these feeder creeks. Number 1, the water's shallower. They want to move out of that deep water and get into a shallow place with some good hard sandy bottom that they can actually lay those eggs. Secondly, the current is a little less in here. They want current, but as I said at the beginning, the river's up right now. There's a lot of current in the river and there's less back in these feeder creeks. And thirdly, the water's cleaner back in here. Not that it's milk chocolate muddy or anything, but it's just a little cleaner water back in here. And it's a place where you could float down that river and get bit and catch some whites, just one every once in a while. But if you move back into a spot like this, a lot of times you'll find these fish ganged up like that, and you can catch a bunch of fish in one spot. Good one. Good one. Get that under him too. Man, what a deal. I tell you, see what I'm telling you? They'll just gang up in one spot and you can just catch fish after fish after fish. What a deal. Big, fat female, 2.5, 2 3/4 pound white bass. Hey, it's time to get you some more fishing and lake reports from your region.
When all that stands between you and success in the outdoors are the elements, don't let that be an excuse any longer. I want to introduce you to Stormer, the most comprehensive line of extreme weather gear on earth. Cold, wet, it doesn't matter what it is. Check them out online at stormerusa.com and learn how to not let the elements be an excuse.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. You know, since I spoke to you last, the weather's gotten beautiful. The fishing has been impacted tremendously. Fish are biting. It's a great time to be on the water in Tennessee and Kentucky. Let's start in central eastern Kentucky. Let's go to Lake Cumberland. The midsection of the lake to the lower section of the lake is really good right now. Kind of chase that line where the water clarity is. The bass, the crappie, and the striper bite is off the charts. Eastern Tennessee, Lake Chickamauga. It's on here every week for a reason. It's where the biggest fish in the state of Tennessee are, and they're biting right now. They're as fat as they'll be all year. Now is a wonderful time to go catch them on an A-rig. Now, I'm gonna take you to Middle Tennessee, Old Hickory. Not the best lake in the state, but it's fishing about as good as it ever does right now. However, I'm gonna take you to my favorite, what I consider to be the crown jewel of the state of Tennessee, and that's Kentucky Lake. From Kentucky Dam down to New Johnsonville, the lake is on fire. A lot of current from some previous rains. There's a lot of watercolor, but the fish are biting. There's been several 30-pound 5-fish limits caught lately. So get out there, throw shallow crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, and A-rigs right now are what's accounting for the tournament wins. Look guys, just get out there and enjoy yourself. It's getting better every day. The sunshine's wonderful after this long winter we've had. I hope to see you on the water soon. God bless.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Buy Lose, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
There, we got another one. You can see I've moved back up in a creek here, up in some fairly shallow water. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's throw the net under that fish real quick. Yeah. That's a big old Sabine River white right there. Let me tell you something. This is some of the funnest stuff you can do to take a kid fishing. If you want to teach somebody how to fish that's not experienced, as long as you can cast and reel back in, you can catch these fish, especially in the spring when they're this aggressive and up spawning. So if you want to do this, you don't even have to have a lot of high-tech gear. You don't have to have a lot of electronics. You don't even have to have a boat, really. We get a lot of emails from people who want to talk about shore fishing. Well, this is the time of the year to do it, to go out there for the next month, 6 weeks, catch these white bass while they're up in this shallow water. Walk the banks, throw out there and catch them. If you want to come and do this at this location here on the Sabine, Tom and Jane Gallenbach have River Ridge Campground. It's located just south of Carthage, Texas. We'll put some information up on the screen right here, but they'll take you on a guide trip. They've got some nice boats, nice gear. Got everything you need. All you have to do is show up. And they'll bring you out here and do this. You can also go ahead and book it in advance for next year because it's a fairly short window that these fish are up doing this, and then they go back down to the reservoir. So if you want to contact them, you can at the information you see on your screen. It's a lot of fun, great way to take somebody and get them initiated into the sport of fishing. Hey, time now for some more local fishing reports from your neck of the woods.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Marshall's Marine. Located in Lake City and Georgetown, South Carolina, we're your bass boat leader since 1969. And for all your nitro and bass tracker needs and for family-friendly fun, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. Let's talk about the saltwater side of things, where like today where it's 70 degrees, these water temperatures are starting to warm up in the backwaters, where just a week ago they were 46, 47 degrees. They're 52, 53 and rising quickly. Those redfish are going to start getting out of those backwater packs, breaking up into that normal early spring routine. And as the mullet and all the bait starts moving back into the creeks, get ready for some great action. Target them with a jig head with a white 3-inch gulp mullet for some great action. Also on the near shore reefs right now, sheep's head, which are one of my favorite species to target, are all over these inshore reefs. Get out with a fiddler crab on a jig head or a small double looper rig coming off with a small live bait nose hook, and get out and get some of those great convicts that are out there this time of the year. Fish vertically, stay right on top of the structure, and you're going to find the fish. On the offshore side of things, the wahoo bite is sure to start turning on as the water temperatures start to rise and the bait start moving, but we know we've got those resident fish that are out there on the live bottom. Freshwater side of things, good gosh, the water temperatures are rising and the bass sizes are rising too. Recently, there was a 33.2 pound bag caught on Lake Murray in a bass tournament here in the Carolinas, and we're not even in that pre-spawn mode. But watch as that water temperature starts moving to 58, up to 65. Those fish are going to start moving into that mode, and you're going to see some great catches. Also, the stripers are out early in the mornings. Lake Murray, Lake Hartwell, I'm hearing some great catches and lots of keepers too. Get out and target those on the top water for some wonderful action.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional anglers. This week's question comes from Kenneth, who asks, after you have finished making a brush pile for crappie, should fish food or chum be put into it? For the answer, we checked with the man people call Mr. Crappie, Wally Marshall.
You know, I never put any kind of cottonseed cake or any kind of specialty products designed to draw crappie, because what that does is actually draw rough fish to your brush pile, and all they're going to do is tear up your shade, which is the #1 structure for crappie. That's the reason you're putting that brush in there. You want algae to grow on your brush, so the zooplankton's there and the minnows are there. No bait whatsoever added to my brush pile.
Thanks, Wally. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now, someone is going to win a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest is Brandy Gray of Scottsboro, Alabama, shown here with a 9.76 pound largemouth bass from Lake Guntersville, Alabama, and it was caught under a tornado warning on the last cast of the trip. If you'd like to enter our Costa Catch of the Week contest and have a chance to win a free pair of sunglasses like our winner does on this week's show, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. On the right side of the front page, click in the Costa Catch of the Week box, follow the instructions, send us your photo, and you could be our next winner. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at the Costa website. Go back to the front page of our site, click on the Costa logo, and it takes you right there. You can see everything, all the frame styles, all the lens styles, including the frame style I was wearing this week called Cabalito. Next up, it's the Academy Right Stuff, the right gear to catch these white bass, and I love this brand new Lew's Custom Speed Stick spinning rod. It's perfect for catching these fish. Got a nice soft tip so you can feel those strikes. Got a lot of beef right here in the backbone so you can horse those 2 to 3 pound white bass in. I've got it spooled with 10-pound test Stren original line in the clear blue fluorescent color. You can get away with a little more color in this water because it's pretty stained. And then I caught pretty much all the fish today on a lead jig head with a little willow leaf spinner on it, and I had it tipped with a Jean LaRue Rally Grub. This is also my first chance to fish that spinning reel. It's brand new. It's the Lew's Tournament Pro spinning reel, pretty much the Lew's top end spinning reel. Got everything you would ever want to catch these whites. Recently, I had a chance to visit Centennial Park in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, where they held the Olympic Games. And right in the middle of the park, there's a statue of Baron Pierre de Coubertin. Now, I don't know if I pronounced the Frenchman's name correctly, but he is the father of the modern-day Olympic Games and the founder of the International Olympic Committee. Now, there's a quote underneath the statue, and I want to read it because I want to make sure I get it right. It says, "The most important thing in the Olympic Games is not to win, but to take part. Just as in life, the most important thing is not the triumph, but the struggle. The essential thing is not to have conquered, but to have fought well." I agree with that principle. Life is a journey. Things don't always go our way. A lot of times there are obstacles and struggles that we must endure. And in our competitive society, it's not always about the winning, but in the fighting well. Never, never, ever, ever give up. Hey, I'm glad you joined us on this week's episode here on the beautiful Sabine River in East Texas. You can take these principles that we use to catch these white bass here and catch them on a river or a creek near you. Don't forget, our show will be on next week in our normal time slot of 6 p.m. Thursday with the repeat airing at 8:30 on Sunday. And don't forget, you can always see the latest episode of our show right up on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. You can also get to our Facebook page from there. We mentioned how important it is to join our Twitter feed and follow us. You can get there from the website as well. And very important, you can catch up on all the past episodes and see lots of product videos and how-to videos. Right below that main window there, you can see, click on past episodes and more videos here, and it'll take you right there. From the Sabine River in East Texas, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.